How's it going, guys? Linux Daily back with another video. Today's video will be taking a look at Bodhi Linux. Bodhi Linux is a distribution of Linux based off of Ubuntu. Features the Moksha desktop environment. It's overall like just a regular desktop Linux distribution. We are taking a look at the standard release, which I already have downloaded on my computer here. But with all that being said, I'll boot it up in a VirtualBox and I'll get back to you when that is complete. Alright everybody, we are here booted up into our ISO file in our virtual machine. So we have a few different options here. We have try Bodhi Linux without installing, try Bodhi Linux in safe graphics mode, install Bodhi Linux test memory, and then a couple of other just like system ones like boot off hard drive and whatnot. We are go ahead and click install Bodhi Linux by using the arrow keys and the enter button. Click out of this message here. Alright, so we are here at the install screen. I'm going to pick English as our language. Click continue. English US is perfectly fine. Let's test this ABCD. Alright, works perfect. Let's click continue. Alright, so updates and install other software. Download updates while installing Bodhi and install third-party graphics and Wi-Fi hardware. I'm not going to click the second one just to save a little bit of time. But if you're running on bare metal, you might want to do this. But I will install updates while installing. So I'm going to click continue. Here is our installation type. We have an option to encrypt and use LVMs, or you can just resize everything yourself. But I'm just going to click the first option, erase disk and install Bodhi. I'm going to click install now. This is us confirming that you want to make these changes to the disk. Everything's going to be formatted ext4. Everything's all good there. So I will click continue. And then it should start copying over files. No, actually not. So where are you? This is fine for me. And then your name, Linux Daily. For the username, I'm just going to put Linux Daily. And it automatically changes your computer's host name to that, which is fine with me. You can change this if you want, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to do a very secure password and then require my password to log in. Click continue. This is where it starts copying over files, so this is probably going to take a while, so I'll get back to you when that is complete. Alright everybody, it looks like our installation is complete. We got an option to restart our computer, so we are going to restart. Alright everybody, we are here booted up into our display manager, so we can type in our very secure password and log right on in to our newly installed system. It's going to load up the Moksha desktop environment. Looks like it loaded actually pretty quickly there. Alright, now that we are logged into our computer here, let's check out and see what software is pre-installed here. So we got LeafPad as our text editor, ARander, which is a utility that lets you configure multiple monitors. It's good if you're running like a window manager that doesn't exactly have a GUI version. It's pretty much a GUI front end, a graphical front end for Xrender, which is a command line application to control your display, set resolution and orientation and whatnot. You got ePhoto. What is web? Which browser is this? Not exactly sure what browser here comes with this, but it boots us into a little start screen for Bodhi Linux. The landing.html here. So it tells you a few little basics like connecting to the internet, how to update, and just a quick start guide there. So that's a web browser. I'd prefer just to install Firefox, because I'm not sure what this browser actually is. Got pulse audio volume control, just to control your system volume and little other just basic stuff. You got terminology, which is going to be your terminal, your app center, file manager, PC, man, FM, network connections, and the Synaptic package manager. And obviously terminology once again. So not a whole lot here installed, but it's a good system, it seems like. So let's check out the app center here. It's going to pull up the web browser, which is quite interesting how it does that. It's not like Ubuntu where it just pulls up the actual application. So it looks like it just booted us into a website, bodhilinux.com/a. So we get to download some stuff. Let's go to text editors and just try to install gedit. I'm not actually sure if it's installed already. So we're going to type in our very secure password, click OK. That tells you that is a incorrect password. Is it asking for the root password, or I'm typing it in? There it goes. I must have typed it wrong. So we're going to click install here. I do like how it actually is booting into a web browser, because it looks like it's working quite nice. I haven't used a feature like that before. So let's go into install that. We can put that to the side. Assuming we can just get out of the web browser without affecting anything. Didn't mean to resize that. Let's just throw that over there for right now. So we got obviously that system tools. Is there a actual settings panel? Let's take a look at that. So we're going to pull us into a little settings here. We got wallpapers. Change your wallpaper there. Application theme. So it looks like you can change your different themes here. I'm going to pick Arc Dark and see what happens. Doesn't look like that did a whole lot. It might have to be something where you have to log out and log back in. Theme. This actually might. This is probably what I'm looking for here for customizability. So it looks like we got animated previews here. So we go to default or Moksha Arc Green. So I'm going to click default just to test the waters there. And it changed it up drastically. Looks like you have the option to import as well. So I'm going to go back to the default theme here. And then click out of there. You got colors. You get to change the colors of the different objects of the window here. Fonts, borders. So it looks like that is giving you the option to change up there, like the whole bar up there. Borderless. Default. So it changes the look of this top bar here. Transitions. Just pretty much like basic settings here. You go to apps. You get startup apps, default apps, desktop environments. So that's all fine right there. So you got screen, virtual desktops, screen lock, blanking, and backlight. So there is no control of screen orientation in here. Screen orientation is going to be done with a render, it looks like. Input. With Windows you get just basic stuff here. So it looks like gedit is finished over there. It did take a little while actually. So that's pretty much like basic settings. Launcher. Pretty much just basic stuff here. So since this is built off of Ubuntu here, it's going to feature the apt package manager. So if you type in sudo apt install, I'm just going to do screen fetch and then enter a very secure password. and it should just install that. We did install updates while we installed the system, so it doesn't need to update before installing, which is nice. I'm going to close out of that window over there. So the terminal theme it looks a little dated, just in my opinion. Alright, now that that's installed, we can do screen fetch. It's going to pull up the Ubuntu logo. It's running, it thinks it's running Ubuntu 18.04. It's running the 4.15 kernel. This is all stuff you can just run commands down there, but since we're, this just gives you all right here. So 4.4 for the bash kernel, the bash shell, excuse me. So it doesn't really think it's running Bodhi Linux, which is kind of surprising. It thinks it's running Ubuntu. Because if we do uname-a, yeah, it's running the Ubuntu kernel, which is interesting. But if we go to settings, go back to the see if there's a like about this PC or something. Alright, so it doesn't look like there's actually a place in system settings that is like an about this PC or like about this computer, if that makes sense. So it's weird how it thinks it's running Ubuntu. Well, I guess because the Ubuntu kernel, but usually when you see that, they at least change the look of that according to the distro. So it looks like there is no Office Suite installed here, which is okay. I guess you can go here and do a sudo apt install LibreOffice, and it's going to install all that. Alright, so that about wraps it up for this video. In my my overall opinion, I think it's a pretty good distro. I wouldn't personally use it myself because it's not a huge distro, but I could see people using this one as a daily driver. So overall, my thoughts are it's pretty neat distro. I would like to have a Office Suite installed by default. Most Linux distros do, but you can just easily install one. It does take a little while, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I will catch you in the next one.